All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about what is, arguably the most important document you will ever sign when you're buying a home, and that is the closing disclosure. Yeah, it's the huge stack of papers. It's basically the last thing standing between you and the keys to your new place.
And that brings up a really critical question, doesn't it? When you're sitting there at that closing table, you've got all the excitement, maybe a little bit of pressure. Do you actually understand what's on every single line, every single fee, every credit? Because let me tell you, what you don't know can absolutely end up costing you.
And here's the uncomfortable truth, coming from inside the real estate industry itself. A lot of home buyers are walking into this final, high-stakes step totally unprepared. And the very people who are supposed to be guiding them, well, they might not be giving them the full picture.
Now, this isn't just some random opinion. This warning comes straight from Darren Dunwiper of the Positive Impact Academy. This is a guy who literally trains real estate agents for a living, and he's saying point blank that agents have to do a better job for their clients. For you!
So you're probably thinking, if this form is so complicated and so important, where in the world did it even come from? Well, believe it or not, it was actually created to make things less complicated. It was designed to put you, the consumer, in a position of power.
Let's do a super quick history lesson. Before 2015, the form everyone used was called the HUD-1, and frankly, a lot of people found it really confusing. But then, after the big 2008 financial crisis, Congress passed this major reform law called the Dodd-Frank Act, and out of that came a brand new mandatory form, the closing disclosure that we all use today.
And the whole point of this change, the entire goal, was to create a document that was just more transparent and way easier for regular folks to understand. So you see, the form itself is actually designed to be on your side. Let's treat it that way.
Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to walk through the absolute key items your agent should be pointing out to you way before you ever sit down at that closing table. Think of this as your personal insider's checklist for financial self-defense.
So, we've broken it down into a simple 5-point check. First, we're going to verify all the big numbers. Second, we'll decode some of that industry jargon, like POC. Third, and this is a big one, we'll look at how to spot potential surprise costs, called special assessments. Fourth, we'll make sure the property taxes are all sorted out correctly. And finally, we'll double-check the agent commissions. Let's jump in with step 1.
First things first, get the basics right. Does the purchase price on that form match the price you agreed to in your contract? Simple question, but you'd be surprised. Is your earnest money deposit, that good faith payment you made, is it credited back to you correctly? How about any due diligence fee you paid? These are the foundational numbers. If there's a mistake here, the whole thing is going to be off.
All right, next up you're going to see this little acronym, POC. It stands for Paid Outside of Closing, and it's really not as complicated as it sounds. This is just the spot on the form that accounts for money you've already paid, like that earnest money we just talked about. You just have to make sure you're getting proper credit for every single dollar you've already put down.
Okay, pay close attention here because this one is super important. Special assessments. These are extra fees, usually from an HOA, for big projects like a new roof or paving the parking lot. Now, here's the crucial difference. If an assessment is confirmed, meaning it's a done deal, approved and scheduled, the seller has to pay for it. But if it's only proposed, meaning they're just talking about it, that future cost becomes your problem as the new owner. So pro tip, always ask to see the last year of HOA meeting minutes, see what they've been discussing. Now, real quick on our last 2 checks. For taxes, just make sure they're prorated correctly so you're only paying for the days you actually own the home. And for commissions, check the percentage, sure, but also keep an eye out for extra little junk fees, like broker admin fees that you never agreed to.
Now look, understanding all these little details shouldn't just be on you. And that brings us to the fundamental role of your real estate agent. They're not just there to unlock doors for you. They have a much deeper, legally binding responsibility to you.
That responsibility has a name. It's called a fiduciary duty. The easiest way to think about it is this. Your agent has to be on your team, and only your team. It's a legal and ethical requirement for them to act in your best financial interest. Not their own, not the seller's, nobody else's. And protecting you at the closing table is a huge part of that duty.
And let's bring it right back to our expert, Darren Dunwiper. He really emphasizes this point. He says that explaining this document isn't just, good customer service. It is a core function of an agent's fiduciary duty. It's their job to make sure you get it.
So the bottom line is this. You have the right to a slow, clear, line-by-line explanation of that entire closing disclosure from your agent, period. It's your money, it's your investment, and it is absolutely your right to have complete clarity before you sign anything. So now you've got it. You have the same checklist an expert would use. You know exactly what to look for, you know what to ask, and you know what to demand from your agent. So the only question left is, when that document gets put in front of you, will you have the confidence to ask the questions that are going to protect your bottom line?